Welcome to Alive in Writing, a podcast on troubleshooting life as a writer.
I'm Chautona Havoc.
I'm April Heyman.
And I'm C.R. Rowanson. We're here.
We're alive.
And we're writing.
Kind of.
Well, we're something. We're something, all right. Okay, so today's topic is what? Balancing family and writing? That's cute. Who juggles around here? Because I sure don't.
Clark does.
And what did you learn about it? Because I know you researched it.
What did you research?
Come on, April. Come on.
That we are not alone.
Yeah!
Did I do that?
Yeah! 3 tears. And I'm so glad you did it instead of me this time.
No, it turns out that the struggle is real, and everybody struggles, whether they are have a significant other, they have children, they're a single parent, they have dual parents in the household, whatever it is, everybody struggles.
Or even probably just friends, right? Even if they don't have a significant other, just
balancing
school, work,
whatever, right?
social life overrated.
Yes. Well, yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. I've heard of those. I've heard of them. Where do you find one of those? Wait a minute. I'm an introvert. I don't need one.
You find someone off the street and you take it from them.
Got it. Okay, so I can go over and get Jesus's and...
Yes.
Oh, that's a whole nother story. Okay. Moving on. So,
not the real Jesus.
balancing with family life. So what? We're not alone? Did your research tell you anything else?
No.
So it didn't solve our problems. Okay.
No, it doesn't solve our problems. What it told me was that everybody has a unique solution, but it takes practice and it takes determination.
Well, and that makes sense because everybody has a unique situation, right?
Yeah,
Yes,
it's a good point. Right. I mean, all of us, we all are in completely different situations, even where some things are slightly similar. I mean, we're all married. We've got that in common. He's got no kids. She's got 3 kids. I got 9 kids, and almost all of them are adults.
Right.
So, and don't harp on the grammar there. Just saying. I don't want to hear it.
So we all have different lives, I guess.
Yeah.
But we all write. That's the other thing we have in common other than the fact that we're all married. Not to each other.
And we all do this podcast.
Yeah, this is not Utah.
We all also do this podcast.
Oh, yeah, there's another
commonality. Sorry, we're just going all over the place.
Okay, so, Chautona, how do you balance it? How do you personally balance it?
Okay, yeah. Okay, let's do a round table here. Let's talk about our lives. I have been married for almost 30 years.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Woot. I have 9 kids. And 5, or is it 6? Right now it's 6. Wait a minute. 6 of those 9 kids are at home right now.
After about 4, you just lose count.
Yeah, you're like number 1 son. I do the Charlie Chan thing, number 1 daughter, number 4 daughter, because I got 7 daughters. But
7 daughters for 7 sons.
Yay! I don't have the sons, and we don't do that either. But
moving on.
I don't have a full-time job like these two.
Well, you do.
You do.
Well, no, but you guys have full-time jobs and writing.
Right.
Writing is my full-time job.
Ah, yes.
There is a difference, and so I don't have that, but I also have an unusual sleeping schedule. I write while the rest of the world sleeps. Right. I concoct wonderful stories to torment the world while they're sleeping and innocent, and they think their nightmares are coming from somewhere else. No, it's not. It's my brain.
Yeah, if you ever wondered, now you can tell your kids.
Yeah.
It's Chautona.
Just blame me. It's that weird name gal. But no, and so when you add that into it, I have an unusual mix, but when I'm awake, I have to be available because I'm not awake most of the hours that they are.
Is that actually why you ended up doing a bizarre schedule?
Oh, I wish I could say yes so badly.
No, that just happened completely.
It was a health issue that messed up my sleep schedule, but I'm telling you, I want to be able to say yes. It just sounds so good.
Sounds like you have it all together.
Yeah, it makes me just sound like I have made this a priority out of my writing. Yeah, no, it's just messed up body. But one of the things that I do because of that is when I usually tend to write in my room. I actually write sitting on my bed. It's really bad for my posture, but hey, it's comfy. And, a kid will come in to tell me something that happened with their day or whatever. And I had to I had to make it a priority. When they come in and they start talking, I finish the sentence that I'm working on, or if I have an idea that I was going with and I'm going to lose, I write it really quick. Then the hands are off the keyboard. And yeah, I'm literally putting my hands on my hair. But, they're off that keyboard, because if I don't, I won't listen. And when it boils down to it, I have to remind myself all the time that people are more important than writing.
Right.
Okay.
I had to learn that too.
It's not easy.
So is that the bulk of what you do, is you write through the night when everybody else is asleep, and then you take your hands away to make sure and remind yourself to engage with your family?
Right, yeah.
And anything else, really?
Well, it's also why going to Denny's has gotten hard.
Out of the house.
Yeah, out of the house helps. It helps a lot. But it's actually gotten hard because I've kind of become Dr. Phil of Denny's. All the servers, they come over, they sit down, they talk to me, they tell me the world's problems, and I've got to fix them.
That's just because you're too nice.
And, well, it messes up, because when I say people are more important than writing, I mean it. And if I mean it, I have to live it. And it is not easy.
Right.
Because when it's my family, I don't have any resentment there.
Right.
When it's someone who's actually supposed to be working and they're just chatting with me about, the horrors of their life, I get resentful, and I have to totally straighten out my attitude. It is not easy. Just saying. So now I get to spend less time at Denny's, but
yeah, I wouldn't be able to do that.
It's hard. It's actually...
And she's seen me, bless April's heart. She's ready to kill them. And
yeah. And I sit down, I want to write. And
yeah. So what about you, April? What kind of stuff do you do to help balance things, I guess?
So now my husband and I we'll be married 20 years this December.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And we have 3 boys. Our oldest is getting ready to leave the nest. He will be 17 this year.
Leave or get booted out, whatever.
Yes.
Probably both. And but we also homeschool, and I work from the house, and my husband works outside the house. So working and homeschooling and writing it's really hard, because the homeschooling comes first. The working comes next, because I help contribute to the family income. And then writing, unfortunately, comes last, but I try to carve out time every day. And I find that I work best about, 3 to 5 o'clock is usually my writing time. I try to make it earlier in the day, but the kids, that's when they're like on top of stuff, like they're most awake and engaged. So I find that is the best time for school. So it means that I can't focus on writing. I try to write at night after 8 o'clock, but it's gotten harder for me to stay up late, because I get exhausted by about 8.
Yeah.
Yeah, Clark relates to that.
Yeah.
I get exhausted by 8 too.
This is actually
I know.
interesting, though, listening to both of you and then kind of looking at how I handle it. One piece of advice that you get thrown at you all the time when you are an aspiring author, a working author, doesn't really matter. Everybody is always telling you that you have to make your writing a priority.
Right.
So what I'm hearing here that's important to note is you make it a priority, not the priority.
Yes.
Because there are other things in life that are important.
Yes.
Family being one of them. Writing is like exercising or being a world-class athlete, right? They have to practice every single day, because if they don't, they'll lose their edge. Writing's the same way. You got to write every day. And if it's not writing on that particular story, it might be journaling, it might be brainstorming, it might be doing something.
Blog posting,
right?
Or just blogging.
Blogging.
Same smell.
But you need to be doing it every day, because you'll lose your muscle tone, I guess, your writing muscle tone. But making writing a priority is just as important as making work a priority, or your significant other a priority, or your kids a priority.
April, you said that you try and write at specific times to help you set the boundaries you need so that you can balance between family and writing. Is there anything else you really do to try and keep that balance?
I'm trying to think of what else I do. The kids know that I let them know ahead of time. I have to write between these hours. So unless you are dying or bleeding,
Severed limbs.
severed limbs, the house is burning down, something is an absolute emergency, you gotta leave me alone. That's all there is to it.
And your kids are old enough to do that. They're not toddlers.
That's right. When they were toddlers,
Nap time.
nap time was when it got done. Everything got done during nap time.
Yep.
And if you have small children, it's okay that you fall asleep during nap time because
Yes.
you're exhausted.
Yeah, just throwing that in there.
Don't beat yourself over the head with that.
A rested mom is more important than a clean house. Every day, twice on Sunday.
Yes, and don't let anyone tell you different.
Yeah. Just saying.
And that goes for your writing too.
Yeah.
It's hard being a mom. It's hard being a wife or a husband. I mean, these things take energy. And if you've expended all your energy on those things and there's nothing left over for writing, set your timer for 10 minutes, journal, and go to bed.
Yeah.
I mean, there are other things in life, believe it or not.
Well, I might take issue with that. Yeah.
So how do you, I mean, you've been asking us questions, so.
Yeah.
Lurk.
Spill it, Clark.
So-
I want the deep, dark secrets.
I don't.
Yeah, his secrets are rather dark.
Probably your wife's career move. So I have been married just on 2 years now, actually.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Just a couple weeks ago when we recorded this, it will be like, I don't know, a couple months or something when you guys actually listen to this. One of the main things that I did at the beginning when I started writing was just a daily goal. When I first started, I was living out here in California and my wife was still going to school. Well, she was then my fiance, still going to school in Wyoming. So it wasn't really hard for me to worry about time in my own home. But something I have had to deal with since the beginning was trying to maintain a social life. Because it's really...
I've heard of those.
I know, they're laughing at me, but...
He's a social dude. We're not.
I'm actually really good at just turning into a hermit. It's one of my favorite things to do is I just get my schedule, I get my stuff going, and then I don't set foot in the real world for weeks, or it would be like months before I saw people again. And I have slowly come to realize that's not okay. That's been one of the big struggles I've had, is making sure that I am including enough social time with my friends here in town and my friends out of town. And the biggest thing that I did to help with this was altering my schedule, especially once my wife Rachel moved back over to California with me. She likes to sleep in, so I started getting up really early so that I could write from, 5 to 6:30 before I had to go into work at 7, and that's the time I got. And that's still... as I'm doing more and more stuff, which is causing more and more problems, but as I'm picking up more stuff with my writing, it's starting to creep into evening times, and that's where that's actually starting to cause some of the issues that I was hoping to talk with you guys about. But the main thing I have so far was just acknowledging what my priorities were, which was making sure I am spending time with Rachel, that's a given, and making sure I'm spending time with people outside my house, which has been a little harder for me to do consistently. And schedule was the first way I handled that.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it's important that you sit down with the people that you live with and discuss with them. Don't tell them, but discuss with them how important writing is to you personally, and that you need to devote a certain amount of time to it. If you are younger than the age of 18, it's something that you request of your parents. After all your chores are done, all your homework's completed, then it's cool. You ask your parents, this is something I want to do. Is it okay? Can I devote these hours to it? You discuss it with them. If you're over the age of 18, you have a family, you just discuss it with your significant other or your children, whatever you've got going on, and make sure that they understand that this is really important, and that when you say you are writing, these are the things that they need to be able to do on their own. Right. If you have little children, it might be a discussion with their either significant other or with a babysitter or, like a grandparent or a friend who's watching your kids. I need help doing these hours so I can write. That's the other thing, is that when you are involved with a family, it's not just about you, and sometimes you can't dictate when you get to write.
Yeah.
That means you've got to be on the ball when you
Be
get
flexible.
You have to be flexible, and you can't wait for the muse to strike.
No.
You have to have everything set, and you have to be ready to go. I think that's why having an outline is so important, at least to me, because I know what I'm going to do next. I don't have to guess where I'm going.
Right. Another thing for those who have to do the pickup on the moment, I would try to learn how to dictate.
Oh yeah, using a recorder like on your phone.
Yeah,
or like
just learn how to dictate your book. I can dictate my plotting. I can't dictate my book. But if I was in a position, if I had little kids again, if I was in a position where like I was caring for an elderly parent and I can't just sit and talk, if I can't have my time at the computer, then I would learn how to do it.
You know, Agatha Christie used to come up with her ideas for her books while she did the dishes, right? Because she had little kids. So if she had a voice recorder,
can you imagine
how many more books she would have put out, or all the stories she would have been able to tell because she had something while she didn't have to watch the kids because she was doing the dishes, but she had all this time to think. And that is actually a great reason to do chores.
Yeah. I get my best ideas when I just start doing housework, and then I sit down and I write.
I get them in the shower.
There's a reason why my house is not spotless, and I blame it on my writing. Yeah.
That's a good reason.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
that's
start
the story, and we're
using that
sticking
from
to
now
it,
on.
right?
Yep.
That's what it's always been.
Yes.
Always.
Even before I could write.
So let's take a break for the spotlight. And today,
So what is the spotlight?
I'm so glad you asked. We're actually coming to the end of chapter 1. It's our first chapter of our podcasting career. And because of that, we are putting together a giveaway to you, our loyal listeners. We do appreciate you.
And our not so loyal listeners.
Hey, anyone who will just come and show up.
If you show up, awesome.
But we like the loyals.
We like our loyal listeners. Anyway, more information is going to be forthcoming in the next few episodes, so you need to stick around. We are not above bribery.
Nope.
Not at all.
Are you kidding? You aren't our children. I'll bribe all I can.
Yes, but it will be spectacular.
It's going to be awesome. I'm so excited about it.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
Just
So, Clark, as far as techniques are concerned about focusing when you do have time to write, what do you use?
It varies. I have started trying to use the Pomodoro technique both in work and out of work. Mm-hmm. For anybody who's not familiar, it's just a way of blocking your time. And it's in 25-minute chunks where you work on something for 25 minutes, take a 5-minute break, and then you cycle through that. And every so many chunks, you take a longer break. And that's actually been that's been very helpful at work when I'm doing very mentally exhausting tasks or when I am just really, really low on motivation. It doesn't always work, but it's been really helpful to say, I don't want to do anything, but I know I can do this for 25 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
That's a really good way to look at it.
Yeah.
Just there's all kinds of things that you can't handle the whole project, but you can stick it out for that long.
Right.
Yeah, I'm looking at a whole project, a whole paper I want to write, this whole thing that needs to be organized at work or at home, and I don't want to do it, but just saying I can do it for 25 minutes. And usually by the time I get to the second block, I'm like, well, I'm in the middle of it. I may as well just keep
going, right?
So that's one thing I've started using. For the longest time, I didn't use any techniques other than I had 1 hour that grew to an hour and a half. So I had to make that work as best I could. Mm-hmm. And I think something you two were talking about is being very clear with how you're setting up your time. One of the problems I've been having lately is as my writing has been creeping more into the rest of the day when I'm not at work, My wife, for some reason I don't understand, loves me and likes being around me and talking to me and that kind of stuff.
I don't know what her problem is.
Whatever, but I'll take it. But I'll be working and she just wants to come over and give me a hug or show me a funny picture or a funny video or show me a song that she really likes that reminds her of me or us or somebody else we know. And those are all great, and they're great relationship building things, and I have to try really hard not to snap and be angry because I was just in the middle of really fine-tuning that sentence, and now all the thoughts are gone.
Yeah. I feel your pain. I do. I feel your pain.
So what I'm going to try and do is I probably need to be more clear about setting, not just telling her when I'm writing, but setting limits on how long I'm going to write. So saying I am going to do two blocks. So
limits on writing. That's just cruel.
I know.
It's cruel.
I never would have thought of it, but just the way you guys were talking about stuff, it's not fair for me just to say I'm writing indefinitely for the rest of the evening. So
deal
you
with it.
Yeah. So you can't talk to me unless by some bizarre alignment of the moon, sun, and stars,
right?
You can come up and touch my shoulder. Otherwise, I may bite your hand off.
He needs a severed hands collection.
It's not fair. So I probably need to work on telling her that I'm going to do an hour of writing. I will let you know when I'm at my 5-minute break. And then after that, we'll go from there. I don't know. Maybe that'll help.
Yeah.
Or you could use your iPad and put the timer on it. That
she can see it?
Countdown timers where she can see it. And then, have a little sign that says you can love on me in, and then the countdown.
Accepting hugs in 10, 9, 8.
Oh, we're away from reality for the moment. We'll be returning in...
I wonder how long he'd live if he did that.
Probably not long.
Yeah, we wouldn't keep him around. Okay, skip the sign, go for the timer.
Okay.
But I think that's been my biggest problem lately, is just finding a way that I can handle that without being rude and without saying, no, I don't want you to come and give me hugs, because I love getting hugs. Hugs are fantastic.
Right.
So maybe that'll help. I think something else that might help is as my wife gets a job and I transition to being more of a full-time writer, it will be a little easier until kids come along. But until that happens, while she's at work, I'll have like 8 hours.
You'll be ready to stop.
Yeah.
Okay, that's so not true for me. But for most people, they're ready to stop at that point. And there's another thing that I think that we have to accept is that sometimes when I say family comes first, when I say people are more important than writing, it's true. But there are more people in my life out than just my family. I have readers that have expectations of me. If there is a book coming out, it's on pre-order, they've already paid their money for it. If I'm in editing on that book and editing has to be done by XYZ date, sometimes I have to put those people first. Sometimes. I just can't do it all the time. Right. But sometimes those people have to come first because I have made them a promise. They have purchased this book. I can't just...
Did you just say that writing isn't always about you?
Yeah. Okay, someone get him the Kleenex quick.
I don't know how to handle that. I'm kidding. That's a really good point.
Right. Well, exactly, because sometimes, you're going to have to do it, and you don't want to do what I did and end up, it's Christmas Eve and you're supposed to be editing and instead you're in the ER with your husband and then, while your family is celebrating in a house that you rented for Christmas, you're in the bedroom with your pain-filled husband, finishing the edits and getting them uploaded at the very last second. You don't want to be in that position.
No, you don't.
But if you are, you have to do it.
Right. On the flip side, don't let family be an excuse not to write.
Amen. Because
it's so easy to do it.
It's so easy to make excuses in general.
Yeah,
it is.
We should do especially an episode on that.
Isn't that what writing excuses?
Okay, never mind.
Don't they do that already?
They used to.
Yeah. So, we can come up with our.
They're awesome, but
but we have our own twist on it. I get it, but I couldn't stop laughing on that. Sorry.
Fine.
And with that, we are actually at time
already. Okay.
I know. Believe it or not. So.
Here's what we want you to do.
Thank you. My brain
You're
just
welcome,
went
April.
blank. Just went blank. What we would really love for you to do is go to iTunes. If you have an account, please, please, please leave us a 5-star rating would be great, but we'll accept whatever.
We'll take any.
Unless it's a 1. If it's a 1, let us know ahead of time so we're prepared.
Yeah, but
For whatever reason.
I need to be here to comfort, bring cook, bring the legal kind.
The drink.
Yes. But we actually, it helps us become available on the front page the more, the better ratings we have so other people can find us. So if you can go to iTunes and leave us those 5 stars, that would be great. We really appreciate it.
Because if you find us as funny as we find ourselves, then you want to expose other people to this madness.
Exactly.
That's really what we're trying to do. We're trying to take over the world one giggle at a time.
It's like a virus and you are our vectors.
Dun, dun, dun.
And with that thought...
This has been Alive in Writing. Sometimes it's all you've got, but it's all you really need. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next